All right, welcome to the first ever podcast for the Big League. Your commissioner Zeus. This is Chris, the manager of the Spokane Sasquatches, with me.
How's it going, fellas?
So we thought we'd take a look at all the teams today after the inaugural draft and kind of check out all our new GMs in the league and kind of see where we're at with everything today. So I'm going to go through a quick overview of each team. Start with an intro of the different general managers based off the information they've given me. We'll look at their teams and see what they've drafted, talk about their ballparks, owners, look at the lineup a little bit, and then maybe dabble into the farm system. I'm going to try to keep it brief, maybe just like 5 minutes per team, and on to the next one. So hope to have a lot of content like this for the league moving forward. Hope you enjoy. So with that being said, Chris, let's take a look at the first team here.
Which team we looking at here?
So we'll start over in the Ice Division standings here. We look at Montreal to start things off. So just looking at Montreal, Montreal said that they are planning to be competitive this year. And they are actually one of the OGs of our league. They've been playing since version 1 back in the late 90s. So
Wow.
Montreal, great resource. If you have any questions about the game, we have a couple guys who've been playing for quite a long time. So
That's version
yeah,
1.
let's take a look at his
90s.
team real quick. Yeah, I know, right? Let's take a look at his
That's
team.
crazy.
I know. Let's take a look at his team real quick. Just his ballpark and his owner. Those were factors that were, for the most part, pretty random for every GM. So, looking at his ballpark, looks like it's going to be a pretty good place to mash some home runs. A little below average in terms of average doubles and triples, especially hitting in the gap there. So, big time home run park. Not so much for average and gap hitters. So let's see. Taking a look at his pitching staff here.
Looks like they can hit some homers there, though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Let's see what he has. He has two pretty quality starting pitchers. Looks like that's what he went with the first overall pick here. Matt Mace. Young guy. Definitely not a bad guy to have. Fan favorite here. So someone you can definitely put around.
Yeah, that guy is. Oh, yeah.
Let's get another nice guy here. Nick Tyler. Looks like 21 years old. He's about to be 22, and he's already fully developed. That's pretty nasty.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. The big train.
He's only got the 3 pitches.
6'4". Don't need. He's ground ball pitcher.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't throw very hard yet. We'll see if that develops. He's still young.
Listen, your scouting's low, so you don't have much to
OSA
judge.
scouting, I believe. So.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. And then he's got a third quality starting pitcher. You know, this guy's got 4 or 5 pitches. Doesn't throw super hard.
Snookums?
Jared Brown, 26 years old. 3 young starters. So Montreal's looking to dominate the pitching early, it looks like. And I mean, he's got a couple lefties in here. Mike Lunsford even. He doesn't look too terrible. Let's look at the other side. His offense, at least ratings-wise, doesn't look crazy. He's got 1 decent bat here, it looks like, or 1 decent player. His center fielder, his 4th overall pick, 4th round pick, excuse me.
Speedy fella.
Yeah, can hit for the gap, can hit for contact, but that might not be too good in Montreal's park, as we've just looked at. We'll see how that plays out, you know. But yeah, no, might be a great defender here. Range.
Great. Good outfielder. Under 30.
Yeah, so that's what we have so far. Let's just take a look at his farm system real quick. He is pretty bare in the farm system, according to OSA. So he definitely kind of drafted a win now strategy. It seems like. I know he's mentioned that he, like I said, he was going to be competitive this year. So I think he's hoping to try to make the playoffs. We'll see. Definitely pretty bare in the farm system right now. So, any last thoughts there on Montreal?
What's his owner like?
That's a good point. We missed that, didn't we?
We did. Josh?
Demanding economizer, normal, and prioritizes profit. So it's a little challenging. It could be worse.
Oh, who are his coaches? Who does he got?
Yeah. I mean, he was the, if you remember, he was the overall, he was the number one scout
He
in
had
the game.
the
So
number one scout in the game.
advantageous to him, but that means he has the worst trainer in the game as well. So we'll see how that plays out, right?
Yeah. I was somewhere in the middle of that pack, I think.
Yeah, I was as well. All right, yeah, let's take a look at our next team, which will be Boston. So Boston already making moves here early in the league. He's got a pretty good. Let's start off here with the same format here. So he didn't answer the the poll question about how competitive he's going to be this year. So I'm thinking he's going to be win now though. By the way, he's traded so far. He's also an OG. He's been playing since the late 90s, and he's been playing online since 2007. So he's been playing for quite a while. Um, if we take a look at his ballpark and his owner, he's got a pretty good offensive park, just slightly above average in terms of average. Can really hit doubles and triples well, so guys that can hit for the gap might do really well in Boston. Home runs, a little harder to come by in Boston, so that might be advantageous for some pitchers. We'll see how that plays out. Right?
What do they got going there? Big walls? Ooh, center field, 15-foot wall.
420 feet. Well, yeah, it's tough.
That's a bomb.
Looking at his front office and his owner. He's got a tolerant patience, guy that prioritizes profit and likes to meddle. Again, not the best talents, but hey, you could have it worse. And so let's see. Take a look at his lineup here. Looks like Ricardo Box. He's got two pretty good studs here, right, in the lineup, and they're in their 30s. They're young 30s, so he's got a couple years with them. But I mean, they're really good. This was the number 111 pick overall. Top speed, stealing base running, top contact, gap, avoid Ks. This guy's going to be on base a ton, and then he's going to steal a ton. He might have 200 stolen bases.
And
Pretty
look at those.
crazy.
Look at that. Leader, work ethic, intelligent.
Yep, great traits as well. Yeah, definitely a great guy to have.
L Titan.
Yep. And then if you add him with Chris Mills here, who was his second overall pick, another pretty great bat if you look at him. He might strike out a lot, but also a fan favorite, you know. So
damn.
He's slow, so he's probably going to hit cleanup, but he's going to make contact and he's going to mash the ball out of the park, which is something that Box doesn't have.
Well, I guess out of the away games, home runs are hard to come by in Boston.
For sure, yeah. I mean, but having a guy with 75
yeah,
power
that's a
might
good point.
help a little bit. I mean, I think that's the kind of guy you need if you're going to get any home run production, right?
Oh,
but
absolutely.
He also added somebody here at the trade deadline. Let's just pull up his DFA list, or where did I put him? Oops, it's Montreal. He just traded for Sam Lemoyne, who is a disruptive personality. This was kind of the conversation in chat. So we'll have to see how he deals with that with some team leaders, hopefully. Not the best
he's got the leaders.
fielder. He might be a DH/fielder. He's got good range, so you could play the outfield, but he's going to develop a little bit. But I mean, a guy with 80 I, 70 homer. I mean, he can hit, right? He's going to start.
I mean, he's 34 years old.
Yeah, he's an old guy. So Boston, like I said, he didn't fill out the survey, but I think he's win now, don't you think?
Oh yeah, that's definitely win now mode right there.
Yep, for sure. And then if we look at his farm system, I'm going to guess it's not looking great after that trade. He did just send in a lot of pieces to Las Vegas, who we'll look at a later time here. Yeah, his farm system looks just as bare as Montreal. So I think both of those teams are in the present at the moment, and they'll have to worry about the future at a later time.
Going to be another Boston-Montreal rivalry, but not with hockey.
yeah, we got the TBL baseball Boston-Montreal rivalry. Sure. All right, we're stuck on Montreal here. I got to switch to Boston. Any thoughts on Boston?
A pretty good team. Made some good trades there.
Yep, for sure. I liked his drafting for sure too. We didn't even look at his pitching. We should look at his pitching real quick.
Yeah, it's a
He's
good
got some
point.
good
Skipped a whole
bullpen
point of the.
pieces. Yeah, skipped half his lineup. He's got some good bullpen pieces here. Looks like a pretty stacked bullpen actually. So it looks like that might have been his focus. This was actually what was a red flag to me when I was looking at offline before the sim. Not a lot in the starting rotation, so we'll see what he deploys for a strategy there to get to the bullpen because his starting pitching is lacking. But you know what? I don't think you're going to find many teams here that have a complete team um, such an early, uh, so early on in the league. You know.
Yeah, wow, look at that. He is yeah, he's got some depth in the. I think those guys are just there to pitch a couple innings in the beginning. Just don't give up 20 runs,
Yep.
please.
Yeah. Exactly. Let's see what happens. You know. All right. Who's up next? Let's take a look. Why don't we take a look at Philadelphia? Very hot topic of the the post draft conversation in chat is how Philadelphia had a budget of like $250 million, and that's because our GM Dan here, he did a pretty good job drafting. He was given an astronomical market size and an extreme fan loyalty, so the fans really liked what he did. I had to reset all that to average and 50 and 50. I think it's fair for the league. Dan was cool about it, which I appreciate. But yeah, Dan did a really great job drafting. He mentioned he is trying to win a championship this year. He's one of a couple GMs who made that claim. And he's been playing since 2012, so he has quite a bit of an experience. Dan and I actually share another league together, so I appreciate him coming over and joining us here in the TBL. Yeah, so the Philadelphia Eagles with a baseball, not a football. Take a look at this team here real quick. And we'll reset the timer here because we're just doing that introduction here.
Let's look at their ballpark, Paul.
Let's look at their ballpark. Oh, yeah. All right, yeah. So looks like Philadelphia is going to be a place where you can hit some home runs, just slightly above average, but lefties can really mash it here. Um, Again, looks like more of a pitcher's park in terms of just hitting overall, in terms of average doubles and triples. So a lot you can do there. Looks like a mini Fenway Park almost. Got some really high left field walls in Philadelphia. And 408, that's a lot shallower than what we were just looking at in the other park. But look how shallow right field is. That's why the
Yeah,
lefties can mash, I assume.
it's got its own pesky pole.
Yeah.
Another chat reference there.
And he's got a decent owner, got a charitable owner, which explains the nice budget, right? Although owners aren't going to have much of an effect with our revenue stream here in this league. Um,
Yeah,
Tolerant patience, priorities balanced. So yeah, not a bad guy to have there.
nope, that's a pretty good guy. He's meddling though. What's he meddling now?
Involvement, yeah, he medals, yep. So looking at his lineup, Omar Gonzalez was mentioned that I did a test file run and just I kind of jokingly leaked that Omar Gonzalez ended up being the 1-1 overall. Dan got him as the 240 pick, the 40th overall pick, so pretty impressive there. Not the best personality, but again, if you look at his offensive bars, if he produces, I don't think you care, right? He looks like he can absolutely um, just play a huge
Yeah,
impact in the middle of the lineup.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. He expects to be the cleanup hitter, so
It looks like we have Jim Green here, third baseman. I think he'll be pretty good defensively with that arm. He's a spark plug, so good personality. Again, man, I love a guy with a good eye discipline. Knows how to draw a walk and stuff like that. He might strike out a lot as well too, um, but this guy's got really great powers. He should be another monster. He's young, so Dan's got this guy for a little while if he wants him. And yeah, another decent bat right here. Not a great fielder. Might be more of a DH. We'll see. That range will work. He's a bit older as well. Um, Dan did draft some older guys. Again, he's in win now mode. He's not too worried about his farm system, which we'll check out here in a second. But yeah, here's a young guy, young shortstop who's not bad. It looks like great defender.
He's out for 5 weeks.
He is, yeah. So he might be one of those guys.
He might
We'll
be.
see.
Check
It's
out
the
that
beginning.
injury
Might be the
history.
beginning. Well, the injury history is just starting. Who knows if he was on the injury list? Though? I don't remember. If we
I
take a
don't
look at
remember
the
either.
pitching here, see who's got going. Looks like he's got some decent relief pitchers sprinkled in here. One standout guy here in Ryan Jordan. And then some decent starters as well. Let's see. Quite a few guys listed as starters. We've got some green bars in here. Let's take a look at Montanez. He's got some decent bars. Ground ball pitcher. Does he have all lefties? God damn. He's got a 6-man rotation and all our lefties.
Wow.
Somebody's got strategy going on. We'll have to see if that was intentional or coincidental.
All lefties.
Yeah.
Even 6-man rotation, all lefties. That's impressive.
Yeah, yeah. And he's got a lot of bullpen arms that are lefties. So
he's got William Montez as well.
gotta remember it is spring training though. Let's see.
Got William Montez. That's another three pitch starter.
Yep. Let's take a quick look. His clock's almost up here, so let's take a quick look at farm, and it is Barron. He's got the number 33 spec. He doesn't look that impressive by OSA standards. 45 potential. Hey, but a 45 potential pitcher in our league right now, that's a major leaguer.
Yeah,
so
that is. Oh my lord!
If he develops, he'll get a little something.
Been looking for my number 2 guy.
All right. Where are we on to next? We next look at New York. So New York answered the survey that they plan to be competitive this season. They started playing in 2020. They're in several online leagues right now, so like 4 or 5, I think, or maybe more. So let's see. Let's pull up New York. So New York's ballpark. Kind of a mix match. Looks like it's pretty good for lefties, right? They can mash home runs, hit good average. And not so good for righties. So this
left-handed hitters.
Yeah, it looks like Matt should have a clear strategy on kind of how he wants to approach building his team. If he wants to consider his ballpark. Looking at the front office here and his owner, he has a generous owner fiscally, and prioritizes winning. His current mood's ecstatic, patience demanding. Yeah, now it looks like he got a pretty good dice roll there, so it's great. Looking over to his lineup. And he has some pretty good talent here. It looks like at the top of his lineup. He's got 2 first basemen, but we're a DH league, so that is workable. Enrique Munoz.
Enrique.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that was terrible pronunciation. Enrique Munoz. Pretty good contact, home run discipline. Can't play the infield, so definitely a first baseman. Splits, he mashes righties. He's okay against lefties. But yeah, he's a left-handed hitter, and we were just looking at his ballpark, so that fits right in. Perfect.
Absolutely. You also got this guy named Gary Smith. My man Gary there. It's another lefty. 25.
Yeah, Gary looks really good. He's young.
Fave.
Gary Smith was his first overall pick. His 22nd overall.
Pick.
Yep. He's got decent speed. Yeah, that's a great pick. And
Gary.
Chris Robertson here, let's see, 32 years old. I mean, his bars are great as well. I mean, he's slow and he definitely can't play the field. It looks like Chris Robertson might be the DH, while Enrique, eh? Enrique. Why does that look different to me? That's so weird. Munoz, um, it's probably gonna be the first baseman. And he's got good defense at the shortstop position. I feel like that's always important. So pretty good offense, I feel like, from New York, who again said he's going to be competitive this year. Looking at the pitching staff, got a couple starters in there that might be able to do something. 30 and 24. Pereira looks pretty good. He's got 4 pitches. Padilla, Victor Padilla here, ground ball pitcher. And let's get some bullpen arms. Just kind of an average bullpen. Nothing spectacular here, but we'll see if it's enough to get the job done in this league, you know?
What's his farm system look like? He's got two of them there.
Two. Yeah, I
Two.
mean, this is offense, so I don't think a 45 is worth as much on that.
Got a good point. Good point.
You know, I mean, he could develop. You know, you never know. Like, it's all about how you're investing.
Calling
stuff,
it.
right?
I'm calling it. He's gonna be rookie of the year.
Eric Vaughn. Yeah, okay. I'll take your bet on that one. We got Juan Solis here. Actually, this guy does look pretty good. I like a guy that can play defense and he can make contact. I don't know. I think he has a future for sure. Number 51 prospect overall. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's New York. All right, let's take a look at the next team. How about Lehigh here? So Lehigh plans to be competitive this season as well. They also started playing in 2020, and they play in a couple of leagues right now. And the Scrapples, Lehigh, run by Kyle. It convinced me to let him use this logo, but he got like 5 or 6 fire emojis in chat, and that was enough to win the argument. So definitely a creative logo, pretty cool.
What is the logo?
I don't exactly know what a Scrapple is, so Kyle will have to let us know in chat. It might be a local thing. I'm not really sure. I mean, I see the scrambled eggs eyes, the spatula handle. He kind of looks like a Pop Tart almost, but I don't think that's accurate. I don't want to discriminate and call him a Pop Tart if he's not a Pop Tart. You know, I know how sensitive people can be. So we'll just call him a Scrapple for today.
Looks like a piece of toast.
Yeah, it's probably what it is. It probably is a piece of toast. See, there I was. I was discriminating. I was calling him a Pop Tart when he was a piece of toast. So.
And the lips could be bacon.
Yeah,
just want to throw that out there.
I can't tell; it's too small on my screen. But anyways, looking at Kyle's park here, he mashed some home runs, and he can just mash in general. It looks like. I mean, he can't really hit in the gap here. It looks like that's going to be really, really difficult to get doubles and triples. But
it's singles and homers.
Really, though, like that's one of the more better home run parks we've seen so far. Really short walls, really shallow walls. 300 down the line.
Oh wow.
388 to dead center. My goodness. So, yeah.
It's a high school ballpark there.
No. Looking at Lehigh's lineup here, Rich Gordon, I bet, is his 1-1. Yeah, the 5th overall. Speedy.
5th overall.
Can play the field. Can play literally every position but catcher, probably. Great contact, gap, home run. Yeah, you can't really beat this guy. And with a park that tailors to home runs, you might want to watch out for this guy for being like the overall home run leader in the league. Speed and power. What a combo, right?
Speed, power,
contact.
He can bunt for a hit.
He's 24. To boot.
And he's got a nickname of Cricket. Look out.
He's got a good center fielder too. Another speedy guy. This might be one of the faster teams in the league. Um, Good range here. Air arm.
Nice. Chris Burt, another fast guy.
Yeah, and these guys are young too. They might bump up. Oh man, look at Chris Woods here. Kind of like him. He was the second round pick. Doesn't have the great overall ratings and stuff like that. Probably because his defense sucks. I don't think he's a third baseman. Probably a first baseman, but good offensive bars.
Yeah, it definitely has him as a first baseman, I think.
And yeah, I like Chris Burt's profile here. Speed, defense. Let's take a look at the pitching. I don't think we looked at the owner, actually. Let's go to the front office real quick. Wow. Okay. Well, Lehigh has won the lottery in terms of an owner. He's got lenient with a generous fiscal responsibility, hands-off approach, and really prioritize just winning. So can't really beat that profile.
And the guy's 50.
And the guy's 50, so you're gonna have him for a while. So there you go.
He's just like, Lehigh, you just gotta win, and you got the best owner. Just keep him happy.
Looking at his pitching.
Get him that serum that keeps him alive.
Yeah, some of them last for a while. Could be around for a bit. Looking at his pitching here, he's got quite a few good starters, looks like. Omar Ramirez, his third overall pick. Personality, some good pitches. Let's hope he doesn't throw the changeup. But yeah, ground ball pitcher. It's great in a home run park. That's probably something you want to be looking at, right?
Mm-hmm. Chris Puckett, another ground ball pitcher.
Oh, look at the stuff on this guy. Tim Holdren, 30. So their bars are concerning, but damn, this guy might strike out a lot of guys.
Holy moly. He won't keep the ball out of the ballpark with 40 movement, but
How about this guy for a closer? Bobby Bonilla. And I'm going with that pronunciation. I feel like I've heard that name before. How about you? I think the Mets are still paying Bobby Bonilla.
are they? They
I
might
think
be.
so.
I
They were
think
paying him for
they
like
are.
35 years. I think it's like a couple more years. Maybe it just ended.
Who knows?
But
It
yeah,
might be extended
pretty crazy.
to keep the day alive.
So yeah, again, just circling back, Lehigh plans to be competitive. Um,
I think they will be.
So this whole division, for the most part, plans to be competitive. At least that's what they've announced. Although again, Boston didn't answer. I think they're looking at a championship, kind of like Philadelphia might be. Maybe they're looking just to be competitive. We'll see. This next team we're going to look at, Baltimore, does not plan to be competitive. They didn't answer either, but they've made some comments in chat that indicates that they don't have the most optimistic outlook of their team. So let's take a look at Baltimore and see where his concerns might lie.
Let's take a look at that ball.
So it looks like, yeah, he's got a pretty average ballpark. Slightly favors, hitters. Um, Slightly below average for home runs, but for the most part, right around that 1.0. Nothing fancy here. 9-foot walls, appropriate distances. Not a little league park like the last one. So Steve's got a pretty standard park.
Yeah, they're like 20 feet further back.
Yeah,
Same
they are.
Same
They're
height walls.
Same height walls, 20 feet further back all around than what Lehigh was. Owner-wise, not looking good. It's got a controlling owner that prioritizes profit. Again, fortunately, this stuff doesn't really matter that much because of the way we set up our financial structure in this league. Most of our finances are based off of a media contract that's locked in place, so everybody gets a base $100 million, and then it kind of goes up from there. So it's going to be super flat across the league. But anyways, this is what you're playing with, and there are owner goals on, so he's probably gonna just be annoying and demanding of you. But you can kind of ignore these if you want to, or you can play along. It's totally up to you, right? So
It might help you in the long run if you think
It
about it.
might sometimes. Like I personally think if you meet some of these goals, then you have a better chance of increasing your budget. But um, also a big part of increasing your budget is just having popular players. So let's get back to Baltimore here. Looking at his lineup, yeah, nothing that's spectacular here, which is um, okay, especially since he doesn't think he's going to be winning now. He may be, trying to sell some of these pieces at the deadline. Alex Cabezas here, this third round pick, actually looks really nice. I love a guy again with great defense like this. I think that's so important at the shortstop and center field positions. And yeah, outside of that, though, he's not a great bat. But 24, he's young. He's definitely a valuable piece that could be traded away if Baltimore goes into like kind of a hard rebuild or something early on. Greg Sattler here, his his fifth round pick. Again, nothing too special. Looks like he could hit some home runs and hit for good average, but um, just a pretty standard player. And he struggles against lefties. Looks like he's going to be primarily good against righties. There are some other young pieces here. If you look, his team is young. I mean, 24, 23. But certainly a pretty underwhelming offense from what we've seen so far with the likes of like Boston, Philly. um, Baltimore not only doesn't have a super strong team, maybe they also are going to have to deal with an extremely strong division. It seems like to start things off. A lot of teams that are in win now mode, so um, might be a good thing to be patient. They're actually their best player, Chris Hanna, just went down for 7 to 8 months. So maybe that's another reason for the pessimism. Um, was their first overall pick, the 23rd overall uh,
Ooh,
pick, and yeah, 7 to 8 months. So he's pretty much done for the season at
I
this point.
feel the pain. I joined a league where I was in an inaugural draft. My number one overall pick got injured and never played again. So I feel the pain.
Yeah, it could happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen with this guy. He's got him under contract next year too, so hopefully we can get him back out there and see if he has any value, and then decide if you want to extend him or let him go to free agency or try to trade him on his contract year, right? So,
Absolutely.
um,
Good news is this guy's 27.
yeah,
My guy
and as long as
was
he,
uh my guy was 32 or 33. So he was on the tail end of his career. So
and I would say injury rating or not, as long as he has an 80/80 overall rating, people are going to have some interest in obtaining him if they're in a playoff hunt at the deadline. So Um, definitely some positive
absolutely.
vibes there. Looks like we also have a decent bullpen. That's kind of like where it looks like some of the strengths are. Let's look at this guy too, 24-year-old Pedro Serrano. He's not a bad starter. Again, in a league that's really shallow and lacking of pitching depth, I think this guy will definitely be a productive arm.
Yeah, throws
Um,
a good speed pitch, ground baller.
then yeah, we do have some good bullpen pieces here. We've got Phil Bird. It's all Austin Johnson here. Bobby Roberts. So
Yeah,
maybe
his
not all
pitching will
bad
be
news
all
in
right.
Baltimore. Yeah, maybe he'll survive here a little bit.
His pitching will be all right. He's got some young guys.
Yep. So his timer's up. So let's just look at his farm real quick because again, this is about the future in Baltimore now. Um, farm isn't the best, but he's got a few bright spots. Austin Johnson here. Uh, Actually, I think we saw on the major league roster. Who knows if he's actually going to keep him up? He actually probably could at this point, right? Um, I probably would actually. He's a 60 overall, so he's going to be disappearing from his farm system here pretty soon. So looking here, Brad Jaraki, not too much to work with. He's definitely going to have some work to do to turn the Baltimore um, team in Baltimore around, I think, and get competitive there in the division. So
It'll be fun. It'll be fun work to do.
yeah. All right, and let's go on to the last team here in the Sapphire Conference. That is the Somerville Money Line, run by JR. So Somerville at their ballpark. Another great park to just, well, not great, I guess they'd say just about an average park for lefties to hit. A little pretty below average for home runs, so kind of leads on the pitcher side in terms of keeping the ball in the ballpark. But you can definitely hit in the gap here. It's like there's big, wide open spaces in between the outfielders where you can get doubles and triples. So, um, looking at the walls, 10-foot walls all the way around, pretty good depth. So yeah, hard to hit home runs here for sure.
Yeah, average looking ballpark.
We look at the owner. Another pretty decent owner here. Um, Lenient, hands-off approach. Balanced economizer. I think this is actually probably the second or third best owner we've seen in the division. Um,
Yeah, no, but nobody's beaten Lehigh.
yeah. Oh,
You think it?
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say nobody's beaten Lehigh Valley's owner.
Owner, yeah, that guy was pretty good. I think I saw one other owner when I was circling through that was really good as well. That we'll come to, but yeah. Um, we actually forgot to talk about Somerville a little bit. JR plans to be competitive this year, according to his survey, and he has about 15 years of experience playing this game in online leagues. So
Awesome.
yeah, so he's another pretty seasoned vet here. So that would go back to about 2008. So we've got quite a few guys that have been playing four. I think of the seven that have been playing for over a decade. So all right, yeah. So going back to his lineup now. So we got Nelson Reyes here. Looks like more of a prospect, not fully developed, 45 of 70, but wow, has some potential for sure to be a really great player in the league. Was his second overall pick, so while he says he's going to try to be competitive, this also kind of feels like maybe a pick for 2 or 3 years from now. As like a centerpiece kind of guy. And I mean, looking at his other pieces too, none of these guys are developed. So I don't think he's competitive this year. That's just me going out on a limb right now. And I'm saying that um, just because I think these guys are 2 to 3 years away. So he's looking at maybe being a playoff team in a couple years, but I don't think it's going to happen this year.
You never know.
You do never know. You never know how things will play out for sure. But if you look at his team
Because
too, I don't think he drafted. He's got one guy over 30 in his lineup, maybe two guys here. So, and this is the spring training roster, so who knows if they're actually
two
on
guys
the team.
over 30.
And they're 31. They're
One
young.
guy.
They're
One
young.
guy breaching 20, 29. He's probably close. Let's see how
Yeah.
old he is.
So I think his draft strategy was definitely to draft for the future in a sense.
Yeah, he's 29 all year round. So
Yep. And then looking at his
unless,
pitching,
unless his pitching is astronomical, I wouldn't say
well,
he's.
he's got one of the better starters in the game. This was his first overall pick. He went starting pitcher in the first round. Um, yeah, I liked this guy a lot when I was looking at the draft class. DJ Marksbury,
Yeah, that looks like
22
a.
years old, and he's a 77, 75, 75 already. So lacks control a little bit. I mean, 45 is not great, but um, four great pitches, great stuff, great movement. Yeah, so that'll anchor your rotation. We got some just kind of mid-range talent, but again, with shallow pitching in our league, this is good enough to be effective. I think we're gonna find that our league has a really high average, a lot of offense this first season, and that pitching maybe is going to develop over time.
I think that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna have to happen. If not, we're just gonna have some pitchers that we wonder if we're gonna be playing a softball league.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it might resemble a softball league this first season. Nelson Rodarte looks like a pretty good closer here. Ground ball pitcher again. Cisco Vera, ball pitcher out of the bullpen. Yeah, that's Somerville, and let's take a look at his farm real quick. So again, yeah, I don't think Somerville is in win now mode. Despite saying that they're going to be competitive, I think they're a few years down the line. They've got four top 50 prospects, which is pretty great in a 28-man league.
Are any of those guys on their main league?
No,
This
none of
guy?
these guys should be up right now.
Okay.
I mean, they might be up for spring training.
Yeah,
Maybe they are up 50-50. Yeah, maybe these are the guys we were just looking at.
I think so.
Yeah, good call, good call.
So
So who knows? Maybe these guys are starting year one. And again, they could 50-50.
yeah, these guys could.
So it'll be interesting to see what the farm
He's
systems actually look like 2 to 3 months down the line
playing
after our
playing
first
the
draft.
long haul.
So some of these
Playing the
guys are
long
pure
haul.
prospects that look good. So
Yeah.
yeah, cool. All right, that's Somerville, and that's the Sapphire division. So what do you think, Chris? Do you want to rate these teams? Like, where do you think these
I mean,
teams
I
will end up in the
can't
fall
rate a
season?
team quite yet like this.
I mean, I think I could make a list right now based off of what we just
Well,
looked at.
I could make a list. I want to say Boston
Is
definitely
one?
is one, probably definitely one,
Sure.
because they made some moves. That was a pretty big move by their part.
Yeah, I
They
mean, I
got
think
a
they definitely have
they
made the
got
initiative right away, right?
they must have got two number ones basically. So
Yep, yep. Well, I think that guy was actually crazy enough a fifth rounder, Lemoyne. But he definitely had the bars to be better, and I think he was only a fifth rounder because he was disruptive. But you're right, he's
ah,
got three quality bats there, so I mean it's hard to beat. So who would you have at number two?
mm, was is Boston your number one?
I'll tell you
Or
my list after you drop
are
your
you
list.
holding off and making me drop a list? Put
Well,
me
you know
on the
what? In the
spot.
next division, I'll go first.
Okay, fine. All right, so I said Boston.
Yep.
All right, Boston's gonna be competitive, so it's gonna be Boston's gonna be up there. That's my opinion on the matter there.
Okay, who's number two?
Uh, I want to say Montreal,
Okay. Yep. Montreal did look pretty good as well.
but I'm only saying that because I'm looking at the standings and they're right at there at number one. So.
Yeah, you're looking at the preseason standings. Yeah, that's cheating.
That's cheating, but it's either Montreal or Philly. So I got Montreal, Philly
Okay.
in that 2-3
So you
spot.
got Philly at number three.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, probably Lehigh.
Yep.
Lehigh might even be up there as well. Like got a good chance. Lehigh makes a good impression there. They might be on the cusp in this division. This division's a pretty tough division.
For sure. Yeah,
Um,
I agree on that. And then we got New York, Baltimore, and Somerville
yeah,
left.
New York, Baltimore, and Somerville. New York, I think it's gonna be a toss up with New York. I think they're good. They got a good shot, but like I said, tough league, so they're gonna get a lot of have to tough division. So, and I think Somerville and Baltimore will be the bottom dwellers of the division.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with you on your list. So, I also have Boston at number one, and I have that based off of the trade they just made. If they can rein in that personality, I think they are the favorites right now. I do
Yeah,
have Philadelphia as my number two, just because I think they drafted pretty great, um, and I think that's just going to play out somehow into the game. Like I just I trust the mechanics of the game. Like the game was like, wow, you drafted great, so I think he's going to have good results. And then I have Montreal as my number three, but I honestly think Montreal will be stronger in that three spot than most teams in other divisions at the two spot. I think they really are like a three-headed juggernaut there in the Sapphire division. So those are my clear top three, just like you, just a little out of order. Um,
yeah,
I also have Lehigh as my number four, I think. Um, yeah, I think I have Lehigh as four and New York as five, just like you do. I think my bottom are all the same. Somerville six, Baltimore seven, and the cool thing about these predictions is that we know absolutely fucking nothing, and that can completely change, and then you can laugh at us here at the end. But that's what I'm going with.
these are way too early
Way too
predictions.
early preseason predictions of the TBL. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I love
Um,
the way too early versions of these.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully, no one remembers this and brings it up at a later point. So when Baltimore or Somerville wins the division.
Yeah,
Uh,
they can rub it in our faces. How dare you
yeah.
speak?
And actually, this is a good time. I want to bring up the playoff format. Hopefully, everybody's looked at that. But now that we've reviewed one of these teams, one of these divisions, basically the top two teams in every single division are going to make the playoffs here in the TBL, and then we're going to have two wild cards from each conference. So if Montreal finishes third, or Philadelphia finishes third, but they have a better record than anybody else, they'll also make the playoffs. So potentially up to four teams in a division could make the playoffs. Two
Wow.
first and second, and then the two wild cards. So yeah, all right. How you feeling? Do you want to go on to the Jade division?
I think you need to, probably support your local corporate sponsor.
Oh yeah.
It's
Okay.
probably is it MeUndies that you support this time, Paul?
MeUndies. Yeah. This video is brought to you by MeUndies. When you just feel like you can't hold it and you're on the golf course, bring your MeUndies. MeUndies.
Is that
For
because
when
you had to
you
change?
are in a pinch and need to drop a pinch. MeUndies. Was that good? Was that a good corporate?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All
Let's
right.
let's take a little break
All
here.
right, sounds good. Yeah, we'll take a 2 or 3 minute break and then we'll come back with the podcast.
Oh, we're good.